Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Aaliyah and I'm here to do my 25-week bump date. As always, please hit the red subscribe button to get a notification every time I make a video, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed or if you can relate to any of the things that I'm going through. I feel like this pregnancy is just about catching up with me. I'm really starting to feel everything that's going on. I feel the baby moving all over the place. It's just really starting to catch up with me. I started experiencing the acid reflux recently this past week. I remember turning over to my side one night and then all of a sudden I felt this burning sensation. I totally forgot acid reflux was a thing during pregnancy. I remember I would get acid reflux a lot when I was a kid, and I remember it feeling the same, so I kind of knew right away what it was. And it only seems to happen when I'm laying on my right side. I don't know why. When I'm laying on my back, it doesn't really affect me that much. Not that I lay on my back that much. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable, and a lot of the times the acid reflux will not hit me right away. It's very gradual, so I'll be laying on one side for a while, and then all of a sudden after like 10 to 20 minutes of laying on that side, I'll just start to feel the burning sensation, and then if I go to turn over, it takes a while for it to go back away too. Sleeping on my left side has kind of been the best for me throughout the pregnancy. Before I got pregnant, I was a chronic stomach sleeper. I love sleeping on my stomach, so it's been kind of hard for me to transition into the sleeping patterns, especially with my stomach. I do kind of like to sleep on my back sometimes, only if I'm like very uncomfortable, and sometimes I worry about that. I know you're not supposed to lay on your back while you're pregnant because of the pressure and everything from your uterus, and I already have scoliosis and back problems like I've talked about in my previous videos, which seem to just keep getting worse and worse, so I know laying on your back is really not good. I only tend to do it if I'm surrounded by a ton of pillows, because usually I'll wake right up if I turn on my back because the pressure is too much for me. It'll be enough pain for me to wake up and then fix myself. But laying on my left side has been the overall go-to for me. I'm a person that does not like to sleep in one position the whole night. I like to move around, I like to toss and turn. I like to spread out a lot when I'm sleeping, so it's very hard for me to kind of just limit myself to one position while sleeping. So with the acid reflux, it's been kind of tough. So I've kind of been alternating between like different rotations on my left side. Like sometimes I'll lay like half on my left side and half on my back, and sometimes I'll lay completely on just my side, and sometimes I'll lay a little bit, lean my stomach a little bit into the bed with a pillow underneath it, because I really do miss sleeping on my stomach. But going back to the back pain, that's something that has been really bothering me of late. This week I remember coming home and my back all of a sudden was just spazzing out. The muscles just kept tensing up and my back felt locked in place, and like I couldn't really move, and that night I just felt horrible. I ended up going to sleep early and my back was just in so much pain. Usually my back is already in pain. My back has been hurting me a lot, especially in my lower right lumbar area, almost in my butt area. And I tried describing this pain, and some people thought it was sciatic nerve pain, but the pain, I'm not sure if that's what it is, because it doesn't seem to radiate that much. It just seems to kind of stay in place, but it locks and it feels very, very stubborn. And usually when I feel like muscle spasms or muscle tightness in my back, it kind of feels different. And for this, it just feels very locked in place, almost like there's just like a knife in my back and it's just permanently there and it's immovable. It's been very painful, and whenever I try to move around, it kind of shoots in that area, but it doesn't radiate down my leg, which is, I know, is the classic sciatic nerve pain. I do know sciatic nerve pain usually tends to happen on one or either side. It could be. I've talked to my doctor a little bit about it, and they told me though that they think it's because of my scoliosis, like I said, and the pressure of my uterus. But I haven't had any pain at all in my left lower lumbar, so I'm not sure why I'm only getting it on the right side. So I'm starting to think maybe it's like a mild form of sciatic nerve pain, or this is the beginning stages and later on I'm going to develop a more severe sciatic nerve pain. I don't really feel like my baby lays too much to my right side either. I feel like most of the time they're moving around a lot, which is another thing. They have been moving around like crazy. I remember when I first started my videos that I had just started feeling the baby move for the first time at 21 weeks, which was a month ago, and now they're moving around like crazy. They're always active, very active. I can feel them all throughout the day. Usually it's when I'm sitting down or laying down, because usually I'm too busy doing other stuff to notice what's going on. But they're very active. I can kind of feel them kind of like pushing against my stomach in a way, like instead of just like kicking, I can kind of feel them grazing along the side of my stomach or running their hand or something across my stomach. Just these little different movements that originally it just kind of felt like a flick. as they're kicking, and now it feels a lot more profound. It feels much stronger, and I can feel them kind of like exploring and moving around, and that's another thing that's been causing me some problems. I feel like they're getting into their exploratory phase, and they're, you know, jumping all around and kicking and, you know, grabbing out for things, and I'm starting to feel them hit some of my other organs. I've noticed myself going to the bathroom a lot more. I feel like they're starting to kick my bladder, because sometimes all of a sudden I'll just feel like a little, I don't know, like a little jolt in one of my organs or something, and then I'm like, whoa, what the heck was that? All of a sudden I have to pee really bad, and they're really starting to get in there and like bully me a little bit. We had our gender reveal, which was really wonderful. I was kind of nervous about having it. No one I've ever known has ever done a gender reveal before, so I kind of just did it how I thought would be fun, and I think everyone really enjoyed it and had a great time. And we found out they were having a boy, which was really exciting. As I mentioned before, I thought I was having a boy. It's really exciting, and I'm kind of glad it's a boy, because I remember when I first found out I was pregnant, I thought it was a boy. So I remember a couple weeks after I found out I was pregnant, I went out and bought this little dinosaur outfit, and I remember telling Garrett that even if it was a girl, we were going to dress him up in this outfit, but I just thought it was a boy, so we went for this boy outfit. Totally ridiculous, I know. Since we didn't know the gender, a lot of the clothing we had got was very gender neutral. We didn't get many things, we just got a lot of essentials. We got regular white onesies, and we got a few other neutral colors like browns and greens and yellows. And now I'm kind of excited because we're gonna get some little boy clothes. My family was actually kind of enough to donate, and because of the financial situation that Garrett and I are in and the places that we're at, and we've been so fortunate enough to receive a lot of donations from family and friends for various baby items. We have pretty much everything we need at this point, except for some of the bigger items, which we're hoping to have a baby shower. Yeah, I'm so grateful and so fortunate that everyone has kind of pitched in and helped because of the place Garrett and I are at in our lives. Like I said before, this pregnancy was unplanned, so we weren't exactly prepared, and right now we're not even living in a home together. We don't have an apartment yet. When we first found out I was pregnant, we have had barely any furniture put aside. We were looking to move out, but not as soon as we are now, and it was just such a blessing to be able to find so many baby items and to receive so much great information and advice from other moms in my family and other moms that we've met along the way who have pointed us out to some great places. So if you guys are in a situation like me, I am going to make another video about how you can kind of shop around and get everything you need for your baby very cheaply, because when you go to places like Babies R Us and things like that, a lot of the times, especially if you're a new mom and you don't really have that much support, it's kind of hard to decipher what you actually need for your baby and what is kind of more of a nice to have item. You can even go online and search for necessities, but I feel like even then there are some things on there that you probably won't use or are not as necessary for the baby as you think. And I've come to find that out because I remember in the beginning I was scrambling around. We did have a budget and we did want to make sure that we were getting everything we need for the baby, but we didn't want to be spending a fortune. We wanted to do it as budget friendly as possible. We were able to do that, so I'm going to make a video about how we were able to kind of collect all of these items, explaining everything about how we got all of the items that we got. I think so far Garrett and I have spent probably less than $200 to buy all of our baby's items. Granted, Garrett and I did buy some baby stuff in the beginning because we were very frantic, and we also did get several donations from other people. But since I found out that I am having a boy, another thing Garrett and I have kind of been discussing is whether or not to circumcise, and I would really love to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys believe about circumcision. I've heard a lot recently that circumcision is not as popular as it used to be in years prior, like when I was born or when generations before me were born. I heard that the percentage of the medical benefits are not strong enough for them to recommend circumcision. I know it is a parent's choice, but I just want to know personally whether you guys decided, if you have any boys, if you decided to circumcise them or not, and then your reasonings. I would love to hear like how you guys came to that decision. Garrett and I wouldn't do it for any religious reasons. My reasons would be purely medical, but also at the same time, if the medical benefits are not as great as they once believed, then I don't really see the point in doing it to my child. I know that there are arguments out there saying that it is easier to clean and easier to take care of and everything, but for girls anyway, you need to teach little girls how to take care of themselves down there, because little girls can get infected very easily. You have to teach them about wiping front to back. I know Garrett is leaning more towards not circumcising, but I'm very open to hear both sides of the argument. So to be honest with you guys, this pregnancy has been extremely stressful for me, and I feel very guilty for even admitting that. I did want this pregnancy to be a very joyful and harmonious time for me, but mostly it's been very stressful and very much of an emotional roller coaster for both Garrett and I. But more so on my case, I have been seeing a therapist that was recommended to me by my OBGYN to deal with and cope with some of the stress I've been experiencing in my pregnancy and the emotional turmoil that I've been dealing with because of everything that's been changing in my life. It has been extremely stressful trying to put all of the pieces together and make sure everything is going to work and function like I want it to. I'm a perfectionist and I'm an overachiever, so I know that I have some room for error and things will still turn out okay, but at this point I just want to make sure with everything going on that everything is prepared and that the baby has everything it needs and he is happy and healthy. There's too much to talk about in this video. There's been so much going on in my life personally since I found out I was pregnant. There's been so many stressful situations. There's been so many things coming into my life that have been extremely hard to deal with without being pregnant, and then when you add the pregnancy, it just makes it even worse. And a lot of the times you don't allow yourself to feel as much while you're pregnant because you're worried about the well-being of your baby. You don't want to be hysterical and you don't want to allow yourself that time to be emotional because you don't want to harm your child in any way. And it is something that I'm looking to change and hopefully resolve by the time the baby is born. I know some of the stresses will still continue, and I know there'll be completely new stressors once the baby's born, but I'm trying to deal with it and get it as much under control as I can now. That way when the baby's here, that I'm more calm and collected and I feel more confident and I feel more at peace with the decisions that I've made. This could be a whole separate video because of how much there is for me to discuss. We do want to have our own apartment and our own space for the baby so the three of us can be a family together, because I personally feel that that's very important, especially when they're very young, to build and maintain a bond with the three of us. I think that's really what we need, because we only see each other on the weekends, and since we're not getting as much time to bond over the pregnancy, I think this is something that we both really need, and I think it will help our relationship. You know, we kind of just want to be together and share in this journey together, and the two of us can get everything settled. We can have our own space and we can just be comfortable and relaxed with one another and not have to worry and figure it out together. You know, we each go to each other for everything, so it's kind of nice to have your confidant and your supporter with you all the time. They just feed you that good energy, and I feel like that's what I need at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave down in the comments below your experiences with any of the symptoms I described, any relief that you got, any kind of remedies that you tried that were successful, or just your overall opinions on anything that I discussed. I would love to hear about your experiences, and I would love to get advice from you guys. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.